All right, so let's just cut the crap and dive right into this Rick Joyner rabbit hole.
Oh, yeah. Let's get right into it.
If you want to understand this whole preacher-prophet thing, you got to follow the money.
The money.
Yeah, man, that's where the real story is.
Oh, absolutely. The money always tells the story.
You ready for some crazy shit?
Lay it on me.
So we're talking Morning Star Ministries, right? It all started back in 1985 in Mississippi.
Okay.
Pretty standard preacher stuff.
Yeah.
At least that's how it seemed, right? But then, out of nowhere, this dude ends up on this huge property in North Carolina.
Huge property.
Yeah, seriously, massive.
Wow.
I mean, did this guy strike gold or something? What the hell happened?
Haha, not exactly striking gold, but he did get himself a pretty sweet deal. It's actually kind of funny when you think about it.
Oh.
Remember Heritage USA? Jim Backer's old theme park?
Oh, yeah. The whole televangelist thing?
That's the one. Well, it went bankrupt after all those scandals, right?
Right.
Yeah, well, Joyner swooped in and bought up a big chunk of that prime real estate.
No way. A ministry buying a bankrupt theme park. Is this guy for real? That's some serious irony, man.
It does make you wonder about his priorities, doesn't it? You know, instead of using that money to actually help people, he's buying up property.
Like some kind of evangelical real estate tycoon.
Exactly.
And it's not just the theme park. This guy's got his fingers in all sorts of pies. There's this thing he founded, the Oak Initiative. It sounds pretty badass, like some kind of Christian militia or something.
Not quite a militia, but it is about mobilizing Christians.
To do what?
Well, to quote them, take charge.
Take charge? What the hell does that even mean? Take charge of what?
That's the thing, they don't really say. It's all very vague.
Makes it even creepier, if you ask me.
Right.
Like the first step towards some kind of Christian theocracy.
Chilling thought, isn't it? And here's where the money trail gets really interesting. You know all that prime real estate Joyner bought?
Yeah.
Well, turns out he didn't want to pay taxes on it.
Figures. This guy's a real piece of work.
He tried to claim all these exemptions, saying it was all for charity.
Charity. My ass. He's running a business.
That's what North Carolina thought, too. They basically told him fuck no to giving him a free pass.
Good for them.
They shut down his tax exemptions for everything. An airplane, land, houses, the whole 9 yards.
This is great. I'm loving this.
Oh, and it gets better. Joyner's church filed a $20 million lawsuit against York County.
You're kidding me.
Nope. All because of some unfinished hotel project.
So this guy dodges taxes and sues people for millions. What a hypocrite.
Yeah, not exactly the image of a humble servant of God, is he?
This guy's unbelievable. Preaching about humility while he's living the high life.
And suing everyone in sight.
Unfucking believable.
Wait till you hear about his buddy Todd Bentley.
Right.
Todd Bentley, faith healer, claims he can raise people from the dead.
You're shitting me right. Raise people from the dead. Come on, this is 2024, not the Dark Ages. We're not living in some medieval fairy tale.
Well, there's no proof of any actual resurrections, but people still flock to his events.
Desperate people.
Exactly. They're looking for miracles.
And this Joyner guy endorses this bullshit.
Oh, yeah, they're tight.
This is insane.
Yeah.
So we've got a preacher who buys theme parks, dodges taxes, sues people, and hangs out with fake healers.
You left out Medieval Knight.
Wait, what?
We'll say that for later.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is Rick Joyner.
This is nuts. All right, fill me in on this Bentley character. What's his story?
Oh, Bentley's a whole other can of worms. He's this super charismatic preacher.
What denomination?
Pentecostal, known for his crazy revival meetings, claims to heal people, cast out demons, the whole shebang.
And people buy this crap.
Oh, yeah. The power of belief, right?
More like the power of desperation.
You might be right about that. But here's where the Joyner connection gets even weirder.
Okay, hit me.
So Bentley goes to this nasty divorce, right?
Okay.
Adultery, the whole 9 yards, real messy.
Same.
So who steps in to restore him? Rick Joyner, along with a few other big names in the evangelical world.
Restore him. What the hell does that even mean? The guy claims to have God-given power.
I know, right? It's like saying Superman needs therapy.
It makes zero sense.
Well, it's all about image.
Ah, there it is.
The evangelical world is all about image.
And a scandal like Bentley's could really hurt their brand.
Right, so they brought in Joyner to clean up the mess and make it all go away.
Damage control.
Exactly. Protect the reputation, the power, the money.
Cynical, but effective.
And they did a pretty good job of it. Bentley's back out there preaching and healing.
Or at least claiming to.
You got it. And Joyner's right there with him, giving him his stamp of approval.
What the hell is wrong with these people?
Well, Joyner seems to have a knack for controversy. Do you know he's a member of the Knights of Malta?
Wait, what? The Knights of Malta? Like those medieval warrior monks. This is too much. What's next? Is he going to tell us he can talk to angels?
He might not talk to angels, but he does believe in prophecies.
Here we go.
And his prophecies are where things get really interesting.
And dangerous. Okay, lay it on me. What kind of crazy shit is this guy predicting?
Buckle up.
I'm ready.
Joyner's a big believer in this thing called the Seven Mountains Mandate.
Seven Mountains Mandate. Sounds ominous.
It's a dominionist theology.
Dominionist. Like, they want to rule the world.
Basically. Yeah, it's the idea that Christians are destined to take control of all aspects of society. Government, media, education, entertainment, you name it.
Hold up. Are we talking about a Christian theocracy here? Like Iran? Seriously.
You got it. The Seven Mountains Mandate is basically a blueprint for Christian world domination.
Holy shit. This is some scary shit, man.
Yeah.
Imagine a world where every movie you watch, every song you hear, every law that's passed is dictated by some dude's interpretation of the Bible. Sounds like a fucking nightmare.
It's definitely a concerning ideology. It raises some serious questions about religious freedom, tolerance, and the separation of church and state. And it's not just some fringe idea either. This Seven Mountains Mandate has gained a lot of traction among certain evangelical groups.
So Joyner wants to turn America into some kind of Christian version of Gilead from The Handmaid's Tale.
That's the general idea. And he's not shy about it either.
This is fucked up.
Yeah.
But how are they going to do it? Start a holy war or something?
He hasn't explicitly called for violence, but his rhetoric is definitely inflammatory. He's been talking a lot about the 2020 election being stolen, about the need for Christians to arm themselves.
This guy's gone full QAnon, hasn't he? Conspiracy theories, end times prophecies, calls for violence, the whole package.
It's a dangerous mix, and it seems to be resonating with a lot of people, especially those who are feeling lost, angry, disillusioned.
People who are looking for easy answers for someone to blame.
Exactly. And Joyner is more than happy to provide them with both.
This is some seriously fucked up shit. And the worst part is, it's all wrapped up in this veneer of religious piety.
It's insidious. People let their guard down because they think it's coming from a place of faith, of morality.
Yeah, right. This has nothing to do with faith or morality. It's about power. Pure and simple.
I think you're right about that.
Man, this is depressing. I need a drink.
I could go for one myself.
But hey, at least we're getting to the bottom of this whole Rick Joyner thing. Exposing the truth, right? That's got to count for something.
Absolutely. Knowledge is power. The more people know about Joyner and his agenda, the better equipped they'll be to resist it.
All right, let's keep digging. This rabbit hole is getting deeper by the minute.
You ain't seen nothing yet. Wait till we get into his apocalyptic prophecies.
Bring it on. I'm ready for anything at this point.
So you're saying this guy wants to turn America into Gilead? Like from The Handmaid's Tale? You gotta be shitting me.
I know, right? It sounds insane. But this whole Seven Mountains Mandate thing, it's a real thing, isn't it? People actually believe this crap.
It might sound like something out of some crazy dystopian movie, but yeah, it's real, and it's got a surprising amount of support among evangelicals.
But how do they plan on taking over all these mountains of society? Are they going to start infiltrating the government? Hollywood?
They already are. They've been doing it for years. Look at the Supreme Court, the Republican Party, all these Christian media outlets, schools, universities.
Shit, you're right. It's like they're slowly taking over everything. It's like some kind of religious virus, man.
It's not a virus. It's an ideology. And a powerful one at that.
Yeah, well, it's a fucked up ideology, if you ask me.
It taps into people's deepest fears and desires. The fear of the unknown, the desire for order, the longing for meaning.
And they're using that to manipulate people, to gain power and control.
It's more complicated than that. These are people who genuinely believe they're doing God's work, that they're saving America.
Saving America from what? Liberals? Democrats. People who drink lattes.
From the devil, of course.
Ah, yes, the devil.
They see the world as this battleground between good and evil.
And they're the good guys, obviously.
Like, naturally.
So what? Are they going to start crusades and burn heretics at the stake?
Well, they might not be burning people at the stake, but they are talking about violence. Remember all that arm yourselves talk from Joyner?
Yeah, that was pretty messed up.
He's basically saying that violence is justified, that Christians need to be ready to fight.
Fight who, exactly? Anyone who doesn't agree with them.
Pretty much. Anyone who threatens their power.
This is insane. So basically, anyone who isn't a right-wing evangelical is the enemy.
That's the logic of extremism.
And it's dangerous as hell.
It can lead to some really bad shit.
Okay, so let's recap. You've got a preacher who buys theme parks, hangs out with fake healers, wants to establish a Christian theocracy, and is calling for a civil war.
Don't forget about the medieval knight thing.
Oh, yeah, right? What else does this guy believe in Bigfoot, too? Aliens.
Well, he doesn't believe in Bigfoot or aliens, but he does believe in prophecies.
Here we go. The end of the world is nigh.
He's got a whole bunch of them, and they're pretty apocalyptic.
So what's on the menu? Alien invasion, zombie apocalypse.
More like biblical stuff. The tribulation, the rapture, the Antichrist, the classics.
Okay, I haven't read the Bible in a while.
Yeah.
Remind me about this whole rapture thing again.
So basically, when the end times come, all the good Christians get whisked away to heaven.
And everyone else gets left behind to deal with the shitstorm.
Pretty much.
So it's like a cosmic get-out-of-jail-free card for the chosen few. Not bad if you can swing it.
The thing is, there's no actual biblical basis for the rapture as it's commonly understood.
Figures. Another made-up story to scare people into submission.
But it's an effective story. It plays on people's fears.
The fear of death, the fear of judgment, the fear of missing out on the heavenly party.
Exactly. And it creates this dangerous us versus them mentality.
The good Christians go to heaven and the rest of us are screwed.
And that's exactly what Joyner and his followers want.
To divide the world into the saved and the damned.
The righteous and the wicked.
And they get to decide who's who, of course.
Naturally. It's all very convenient.
And fucked up.
You got that right.
This whole thing is sounding more and more like a cult.
A cult with a lot of money and power.
Man, this is depressing. Is there any hope at all?
There's always hope. Hope lies in knowledge, in critical thinking, in resisting fear and hate.
Easy to say, hard to do when you're bombarded with this kind of shit 24/7.
It's a battle for hearts and minds, but it's a battle we have to fight.
You're right. We can't just sit back and let these guys win.
Silence is complicity. We have to speak out, challenge the lies, stand up for what's right.
Okay, I'm fired up now.
Yeah.
Let's get back to these prophecies. What kind of crazy shit is this guy predicting?
Well, they're pretty vague, but definitely apocalyptic. He talks about a coming tribulation, a time of great suffering and upheaval.
Sounds like a Tuesday in 2024.
Wars, famines, natural disasters, the whole 9 yards.
Joyful stuff.
He also predicts a big spiritual battle between good and evil.
Like a cosmic showdown between God and Satan.
Something like that, culminating in a final showdown between Christ and the Antichrist.
Okay, so who's the Antichrist in Joyner's world? Some evil politician. A celebrity. Mark Zuckerberg.
He never explicitly names him, but he's dropped some pretty heavy hints, and let's just say his descriptions tend to match up with his political enemies.
Shocking.
It's always easier to demonize your opponents when you can paint them as agents of Satan.
Classic tactic.
Effective, too.
So what's the bottom line? Are we all doomed? Is the world really going to end?
The world's not going to end, not because of some preacher's prophecies, but the world as we know it, the world of reason and tolerance, yeah, that world is under attack.
And people like Joyner are leading the charge.
Unfortunately, yes.
So what can we do about it?
We can educate ourselves, speak out, vote, support organizations that are fighting against extremism.
You've got to do something. We can't just let these guys win.
You're right. We have a responsibility to fight back, to stand up for a better world.
All right, I'm feeling a little more optimistic now. We may be in a dark place, but there's still hope.
There's always hope, as long as we're willing to fight for it.
You mentioned Joyner's kids earlier. They spoke out against him, right? Tell me more about that.
Yeah, it was a pretty big deal. His own children publicly denounced his views.
That's incredible.
They basically said they loved their father, but they couldn't stay silent while he was spreading hate and division.
Wow, that takes guts.
They chose truth over family loyalty.
That's powerful, man.
It shows that even within the most extreme families, there's room for dissent, for critical thinking.
There's always hope.
Right.
Okay, well, I think that's enough Rick Joyner for one day. My brain is fried.
I do.
This whole saga is a mindfuck.
No.
But at least we're starting to make sense of it.
We've only scratched the surface, but I think we've given our listeners a good overview.
Okay, folks, that's it for our deep dive into the world of Rick Joyner. It's been a wild ride. A roller coaster of religious extremism, apocalyptic prophecies, and financial shenanigans. We've explored his rise to power, his questionable associations, his disturbing ideology, and the impact he's had on the evangelical community. Is he a prophet? A madman? A con artist? We'll leave that for you to decide.
You know, it's really something how Joyner pulls it all together. The wealth, the power, the whole end of the world thing, even that medieval knight stuff.
Yeah, and he puts himself at the center of it all. Like he's some kind of a hero fighting the forces of evil. But come on, this guy's a total wolf in sheep's clothing. Using religion for his own gain.
And it's working. He knows how to appeal to a certain type of person.
Yeah, people who are scared and angry.
People who feel like they're losing their place in the world.
White evangelicals mostly.
A lot of them, yeah. They feel like America is slipping away from them.
And they see Joyner as their savior.
Someone who can bring back the good old days.
The good old days when white Christians were in charge.
That's definitely part of it, but it's also about fear.
Fear of what?
Fear of the future, fear of change, fear of the other.
And Joyner just feeds that fear.
And then he offers himself as the solution, the only one who can protect them.
Classic authoritarian playbook.
Scapegoat a minority, stoke fear and anger, then promise to restore order.
It's scary how easily people fall for this shit.
It really is. It just shows how powerful a simple, seductive narrative can be.
Especially when it confirms people's biases.
It reminds us that we're all susceptible to propaganda and groupthink.
So what's the antidote?
Education, critical thinking, challenging the lies.
Easier said than done, right?
It's not easy, but it's necessary. We got to start somewhere.
Okay, but what about right now? What can we do to fight back against Joyner and his followers?
We can call them out, challenge their lies, support those who are speaking truth to power.
Like Joyner's kids.
Exactly. They're an inspiration, aren't they?
Yeah, it gives me hope that even in the most extreme families, there are people who are willing to stand up for what's right.
It shows that it's possible to break free from those ideologies.
Their story is powerful, man.
It really is. It's a reminder that there's always hope.
Yeah, we need to hold on to that hope. We got to believe that a better world is possible.
And we got to fight for it, not with violence or anger,
but with love and understanding.
Right.
Okay, folks, I think that's a wrap for this deep dive into the world of Rick Joyner.
Yeah, I think we've covered a lot of ground.
This whole thing has been a trip. A wild, unsettling, and ultimately disturbing trip.
I think we've given our listeners a lot to think about.
We've explored Joyner's rise to power, his shady dealings, his dangerous ideology. It's a cautionary tale about the dangers of blind faith, unchecked power, and the seductive allure of apocalyptic thinking.
It's a reminder that we can't take our freedom for granted. We have to stay vigilant, challenge the lies, and fight for the values that we believe in.
Amen to that. All right, folks, that's it for this episode of The Deep Dive. Keep your minds sharp, your hearts open, and your bullshit detectors on high alert. We'll see you next time.